Okay, this is going to be my last Mutant Future book for a while to review, but boy, is it a good one. Twisted Genomes, Wasteland Mutations, Mental, Physical, and Plant Mutations. It's 400 of them. So yeah, it's very impressive when it comes to the amount of mutations that are in here. $21.99. It's a drive-through RPG print-on-demand book. This is obviously the hardcover of it. And it says, Warped Power for the Ultra-Modern Mutant. Unlock the power of over 400 new mutations. It's for Mutant Future and other post-apocalyptic games. So that's another reason I want to talk about it, is because it's so good. You know, it could be used with any other post-apocalyptic game, because there's so many great ideas. And I'm going to give this a huge stamp of approval. If you have Mutant Future, if you want more mutations, or if you have any real role-playing game that's got, you know, mutations in it, this is a must pick up, in my opinion, because there's just so many, and they are very, very good, unique, and just brimming with cool imagination that Derek Holland, who wrote it, has. So he has also provided us with a lot of stuff from Mutant Future. The Living Building, Creatures of the Wastelands, Wisdom from the Wastelands, and Quantum Flux, unique super science artifacts. I have all these in PDF. They're fantastic. They really add on to Mutant Future, and some of the stuff that's in here is also in those, but most of it is new. So definitely worth picking up, even if you have those. I believe you can get Creatures of the Wasteland on Amazon and some print on demand. I'm not sure why it's not on Drive-Thru RPG, but they're very good with lots and lots of creatures for Mutant Future. And I'm just gonna go and say it. I know that Mutant Future probably has been overlooked by a lot of people, but the amount of work that Derek has done, that other people have done, the books that I have spotlighted for the game, this book, all the monsters that are out there for it, this thing has really, really been fleshed out with a lot of content. It would be great if Mutant Future had a lot of adventures that you could buy for it, but it simply doesn't, and that's unfortunate. But they've given you tons of tools to create your own. I think the game is actually very robust if you actually go look at the products that I've looked at and look online and see what's out there for it. You'll be amazed at just how many creatures and, of course, mutations now with this book are available for you. So it does have a great section. Here it says, you know, what to do if, you know, ongoing campaign. They didn't need to put this in here. Like, what should you do if you're going into an ongoing campaign? Well, the next time that your characters level up, give them a mutation from this book. Or let them exchange one out next time they go out from, you know, next time they go up a level from Mutant Future to this book. And if you're starting new campaigns, we'll just use this one. Or mix and match. Maybe they randomly select mutations from a choice of sources. Or maybe, you know, evenly distribute them. Maybe gain one from the Mutant Future book and one from here. So don't leave out the Mutant Future book is pretty much what it's saying. Now, with 400 mutations, I'm not going to go through them all, obviously. But these are the mental mutations here. And there's a lot of them. Now, there are some ones that are drawbacks. And those could lead to some very unique characters, as well as some neat role-playing opportunities. If you don't want your characters to have that, or they whine and complain, let them roll again. If that's not the scope of your setting, if you just want them to have a lot of cool abilities and go kick a lot of ass, then just do that. But they are there if you need them. So there's a lot of cool ones. And I will say, even though I can't break these down, and I thought about maybe doing shorts to spotlight some of them. And I don't know how much you guys out there that watch my channel enjoy shorts, kind of like what I'm doing with the Savage Afterworld. But if you think that you would like to hear about more of these, let me know if you want me to do shorts, and I'll just read out a section. And I'll let you know this now. Putting stuff in under a minute is very difficult to describe something. But with these, I should be able to read them fast and let you know, because there's just so many. So right here, the mutant can, this access machine, they can telepathically access a computer with the assistance of new brain lobes. So they can just not having to touch it. They just need to be close by, and they can interact with it. Some of them have to do with about actually learning, like making your brain actually smarter. So this one, adaptive learning, the mutant has an enhanced ability to determine probabilities in his head. If the mutant is allowed to study a creature for 3 rounds, he gains +1 to hit and -1 armor class. And I just think that's really cool. And you can actually watch stuff for a very long time and get even more information on them. He's also used a lot of stuff about the technology rules, giving you bonuses to technology rolls with certain mental mutations. Let's see, alter atomic composition. He's got a lot of stuff about changing compositions of materials. So the mutant can change one material to another by transmuting their elements. So in essence, you roll up and it can be like, I can change soft metal into plastic, or I can change stone to wood. Now, I can't go back and forward. I can just do one to the other. And that could be very beneficial. If you can change hard metal to wood, you'd be able to bust down that hard metal door. Very cool. Or if it's glass, ceramic, even easier. So very useful, cool mental mutation right there. Animate object. Bond of blood. This one's interesting. A mutant telepathically knows the health, mental well-being, and general location of all of his blood relatives, ancestors, and descendants. Clairaudience is cool. They can hear over a long distance. So pretty much they pick a spot about 100 feet away, and they can hear as if they're in that spot. There's just so much to talk about. So I'm just going to flip through. There is some art here and there throughout it, and it's fun, definitely in that mutant future type of vein. And then you're going to have the list here of insanities, which are going to be drawbacks. Can't lie, can't sleep, can't tell the truth, curious. It could lead to some real fun. And maybe you could say, hey, look, you know, for every 2 positive mutations you get, your character has to have a drawback. That could be fun and make the characters more unique. And obviously cut back on having so many powerful mutations that benefit the characters. So life scan, when this mutation is gained, the mutant selects one type of life form, animal, plant, fungus, or alien. And any time that type of life was within 50 feet, the mutant knows the exact location. It even happens when they're asleep. It instantly awakes them. So that's pretty neat. So I was really impressed by the mental mutations, because I think that's something that you can kind of get bogged down on, about like coming up with something maybe new. But, man, he's done a lot of really great ones. There is, let's see, let's look at Nightmare Armor. So pretty much you reach into the mind of a foe and clothe himself in an illusion of form that terrifies the enemy. So you pick a guy out and he's just going to have a hard time in order to hit you because he thinks you're an absolute nightmare, which you may be. Oracle is pretty cool. You can sense about stuff that's going to happen, but it's going to cost you some intelligence and willpower that you'll have to obviously heal from, but it can give you a little insight into what's going to happen in the future. There is a lot of psychic attacks. You can absorb people's knowledge. You can give them nightmares. Brain fire pretty much causes them overwhelming pain. There's a calming aura, so you just generate this aura that calms people down. Distant master. The mutant can telepathically activate mutations in others, so that's very cool. You can have a familiar. You can generate fear. Force telepathic web. It says you can force up to 4 beings to share their surface thoughts between themselves, including the mutant. Implant compulsion. You can drive others to perform some task until they are exhausted. So that's not great. Induced sleep. Mental phantom. They can see movement where there is none. So that's neat. Psychic maze. This one's actually really cool. They're well protected from mental intrusions. So they get a +4 bonus to mutant save or willpower score. Anything that attempts to attack their mind or use unwanted telepathic or empathic powers against the mutant must save versus stun. Those who fail are mentally trapped inside the mutant's mind, observing a chaotic swirl of memories as their body falls prone. So they can save to try to get out of it, but again, a very neat one right there. So you can seal memories away, steal mental mutation from another person. You can duplicate your mind, uploading it into machines. You can psychically forge yourself weapon and armor, or your companions. You can reverse the corrosion of items. Submind is very neat. The mutant creates tiny fragments of his mind to defend the whole, little blobs of brain matter that are connected continuously to the brain. The mutant has one of these per 10 hit points. Anytime the mutant fails to save versus a mental attack, he can spend 10 hit points to kill a fragment and ignore the attack. The damage heals normally by rest, tech, or mutation. This results in new subminds that will stick around until they are needed for defense. Just a very neat, and I just like the description of it being like little blobs of matter. Here's Spider Palm. You can detach one of your hands and control it telepathically. Here's a little piece of art showing you that. Very cool. This drawback's interesting. Shadow of the Colossus, great video game. The mutant has an illusion of himself 5 times his height that follows him 10 feet behind while he is awake. No matter what the mutant does, the Colossus is standing and looking proud and potentially hostile. Surprise is impossible against sighted creatures in illuminated conditions. Tracking the mutant is easy if the Colossus is visible. So it says the drawback was designed as a reward for larger-than-life figures and their descendants cursed them for it. So let's go ahead and get into the physical mutations here. So there's so many physical mutations, and it says here that some of them are from previous wisdom of the wasteland issues, but you've got 3 different tables to roll on. So you're going to roll a D3, and you can see here a lot of altered form, a lot of altered blood, a lot of bizarre appearances. So there's physical mutations 1, physical mutations 2, and physical mutations 3. And obviously this is going to be the bulk of the mutations in this book, which, of course they are. I mean, physical mutations are where, you know, a lot of what makes you a mutant. I like this aberrant form flowing muscles. In essence, you can move muscle from other parts of your body to a different part, such as if you want to increase your movement rate, you can eat up 2 points to decrease your strength to run faster, or vice versa. If you want to take away from your movement, you can add it to your strength. I love this little piece of art here showing his big arm there. I think it's really cool. That's just a really neat thing. Gliding wings, cage digits. So your hands are like massive long fingers that you could actually use as a cage to hold somebody. Very neat. There is a head shield that protects you. Your cranial dome. That's like you're wearing a helmet at all times. Your head is full of tentacles with your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth kind of scattered and distributed randomly among them. Very neat. Leg shields, they're kind of like hooves, but they grow upward to protect yourself. You have a mirror on your forehead. You have multiple pupilled eyes that can see in like ultraviolet, infrared, X-ray, gamma radiation. You have a tail that has a net on the end of it. Very neat. You may have more digits on your hand. You have a new movement type, such as like swim, burrow, or climb. It goes on and on here. Shredding claws, sticky hairs that stick and get lodged into your foe. Redundant organs. They're just a bunch of extra organs that are in your body. And they're very beneficial should you fall unconscious. Let's see. Techno-organic limbs. They're tentacle-like structure protruding from her torso. When engaged with all appendages working, the limbs look like a nanotech bush robot crossed with a sea anemone. Their many arms emerge as needed to help the mutant repair complex artifacts. So it kind of sprouts out and helps you fix stuff. Tool digits, you can kind of morph your bone, skin, and muscle in order to create like your fingers or toes or some other appendage into a useful tool for unlocking stuff or figuring out technology. Very neat. Ageless, it says the mutants' age-related physical markers have little or nothing to do with their chronological age. So they could look, they're still going to age the same way, but they can look very young. It says additional mutagen, there are 1d4 additional forms of energy or substances that mutate the character. So it might not be just radiation, it could be something else. It says such as seawater, or maybe giant spider venom is something that makes you create more mutations. So you can see here, it's just, I'm just going to start flipping through because we're going to be here all day. Bizarre appearances, an alien appearance, aquarium skin. It appears like glass. It's full of sea life inside your skin. Very cool. Babbling hump. It's more like a partially absorbed twin or sibling. It babbles constantly. So baby tumors. Jeez. Bedding sores, Bigfoot, center form, chain loops. Chromatic flesh, egghead. So a lot of bizarre appearances. It keeps on going. Bungee tail. So it obviously it can stretch out very long. Burning shadow. Dark energies infusing the mutant shadow make it appear to burn constantly. So a lot of these things are going to hurt with your like random encounter reaction rolls. Bubble blower. The mutant can surround herself or those nearby in a cloud of bubbles. With a little table here, what they could do, maybe absorbing lasers or light attacks. Yeah, it's just so much. Dehydrate, crystal skeleton, cyborg, drain sugar from another character or plant, and turn it into energy to enhance one of their own powers. I think you can start to see that, you know, Derek really thought outside the bubble here when it comes to creating some new, unique mutations. Jeez. Explosive dietary supplement. Some common edible reacts very poorly to the mutant's digestive tract, exploding in her gut when she eats it. This is Wendy, 20 points of damage with a save versus poison. Jeez, that's one hell of a burrito, I guess. Facial limbs. The mutant has Wendy 4 small limbs growing from their face, much like the mandibles. So yeah, it's wild. Facial shift, you can shift your face around. Flexible skeleton, much like a mouse or octopus. A flesh pocket, you could hide some stuff in there. I mean, yeah, there's so many great ones I'm skipping here. But, I mean, look, we're a little bit past halfway. Limb cloning. The mutant reproduces by dropping an appendage, which morphs into an immature replica of the parent. Luminous gas. It can produce a cloud of glowing gas. Just wild. And very useful, I think. Multiple hearts. Mutant predator. Organic radio. They can exchange messages from one another. Oxygen storage within their muscle tissue, much like a seal or whale. I just don't see... With some of the other books that I've looked at have got other mutations. Those are great too. But man, this is the be-all, end-all for me for Mutant Future when it comes to mutations. So now we've got plant mutations. So we got 100 of those. So yeah, animal form, aging touch, adhesive sap, chemical gland, fan leaves, flying leaves, death hibernation, hybrid vigor, gummy sap, high energy nectar, low light tolerance. The mutant can survive in deeper water or darker locations than most other plants, so long as there is some light and fishing, including artificial sources. The plant will not starve. Boy. Yeah, I gotta say, and I've said this in some of the other videos, when you come up with a big list of stuff, you really start getting some paralysis about something new. But over the years, obviously, he has just really pushed past that barrier, because I would have probably hit it a long time ago. Seeking projectile, smoke eater. The smoke of burning plant materials and animal flesh contains chemicals that boost the mutant's growth. When enveloped by this smoke, the plant can heal 1d4 points of damage per round. I'm just seeing just a ton of imagination here that honestly I don't have. I mean, I don't think I could have come up with most of these. So very much kudos to him. Android brain, animal head, bat wings, digestive organs. A little bit making them a little bit more human. Insect colony. Wow. Okay, so at the end here, it's got alternate and expanded rules for such as alter atomic composition, which is obviously a very big kind of, could be more complex mutant ability. And then it's got mutant creation concepts, kind of thinking about what you should make if you want to write your own, what you should do if you want to make your own mutations. Sits right here, creating new mutations. And then some great conversion guidelines for Labyrinth Lord with its mutants and mazes. Here's DCC RPG for crawling under a broken moon and Moon Mutants, and converting these mutations to other systems such as BX, AD&D, 2nd edition, 3rd edition, 4th edition, 5th edition. Darwin's World, which is a great post-apocalyptic game. Gamma World, of course. Marvel Superheroes, Metamorphosis Alpha, Mutant Crawl Classics, Star Wars D20, Omega World. And then there's some promotional stuff back here. So, yeah, that is a quick. For 400 mutations, I think that's a quick look at this book. But, like I said, to summarize, I don't think you need anything more than this when it comes to if you want more mutations for your Mutant Future game or any other game. So, definitely check this out if you need more. I only touched the surface of some of the imagination that Derek has. Major kudos to him for just really thinking outside the box. Because I know I read some that I didn't talk about in this video. And of course, I did spotlight some that I didn't read. But they all were very imaginative. So, very good. I didn't see anything in here that I was like, yeah, that's basic. There may be some basic ones in there where you're like, of course, that. But out of the 400, all I saw was just brimming with great imagination. So there it is. Look for it on DriveThruRPG and print on demand. I think there's a soft cover. I'm not sure. Don't count me on that. But I really like this hardback cover. So there it is. Twisted Genomes, Wasteland Mutations, an excellent, excellent book for Mutant Future or any other post-apocalyptic role-playing game. So thanks for watching. Check out my other videos. I got more coming for you. So be on the lookout for those. Thanks.